basketball dynasty. The Herd starts right now.
Undisputed.
Here we go on a loaded Thursday. The topic gods have granted us some gold bars. This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, we are live in Los Angeles on iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. Joy Taylor is joining me. Lakers dysfunction. KD could be gone forever. Kyrie Irving mess. It is great.
It was quite a day in the NBA yesterday.
I mean, I could break down the baseball regular season. I'm going to pass on that today. Joy.
A lot going on.
Let me start with this. This is a concept that even though we've seen it materialize, basketball fans struggle with this. I talk about this all the time. The concept that you can lose your best player and actually get better. Maybe it's short-term, not long-term. But when you've got a KD and you've got a Kobe, we've all played basketball at the Y. You go into a gym, there's a great, great player. He's better than everybody else, and you stand around watching him, and you don't move as much, and you don't cut as much. And long-term, KD and the Warriors are a better team, more ammo to their arsenal. Short-term, I'm not so sure. When Kevin Durant's not playing, the Warriors aren't better. I'm not saying that. They are, however, different. And their different is damn good. They move more. They cut more. They're more fluid. They're more frenetic. They stand around less. Draymond Green is empowered. They're 29-4 when KD doesn't and Steph does play. Don't tell me Houston's got this series. And I would say Houston, actually, if you ask James Harden who he would rather face, he'd rather face the Warriors with KD. Because when KD plays, and Warriors never been a great stamina guy, what's the knock on him forever? He melts down at the end of seasons. He looks tired. When KD leaves, did you watch the Steph offense? Running, cutting. Harden was chasing him all fourth quarter. It's not that Harden was off in the fourth quarter. He was gassed. It's not that he was missing shots. Hell, he wasn't even taking them. He took 3 all quarter. He's averaged almost 9 a quarter. He's averaged 8 in the fourth quarter. He took 3, made 2. The KD Warriors are more static, and long-term, they're better. But Harden and Chris Paul, get your track shoes on because the Steph Warriors are running all over the floor. They have to because they lose a prolific score. They've got to make more screens, cut harder, pass better, space better, get the ball up the floor quicker. And I thought it turned Harden. It was a track meet. He didn't want to be involved. He's never been a sprinter. And that's why this morning everybody's like, oh, it's over for Golden State. No, they're just different. We've got statistical analysis. With Kevin Durant, they're the best team in basketball. Without Kevin Durant, they won 73 games, a title, and came within a Kyrie Irving jump shot of winning a second title. So with or without KD, they've been great. They've been dominant. 73 wins without him. Steph wins without him. If not for a Kyrie jumper, they win twice and get 73 wins out. And then they add him, and they're really great. But it's two different teams. Draymond is energized when KD's off the floor. Feels like it's Steph and Draymond's team. You can feel the energy. He talks more. He's feistier. And this is a concept basketball fans struggle with. And the other reason Golden State's a dynasty and Houston's just really good, because Golden State loses the best basketball player in the world, and they've got a 2 Steph and a 3 Clay and a 4 Draymond and a 5 Iggy and a 6 Looney. Championship teams have layers of excellence, just like championship companies have layers of excellence. It's not just Alabama's defense. It's not just Tom Brady. And the reason Houston is just good and not a dynasty is KD leaves, Harden struggles, and they're not the same team. If Harden's not great, and they may win this series, but Harden will have to be great. If Harden isn't great, Houston's is a good team. When Harden's on, when Harden's scoring, They can be amazing. But last night is why Houston's just a good team and the Warriors are a dynasty. People forget how good Michael Jordan's Bulls were. Scottie Pippen was a top 50 player. Dennis Rodman was the best rebounder ever. Kukoc was the best European. Steve Kerr at the time was the best shooter in the league. Jim Paxson wasn't far behind. Ron Harper was a 25-point-a-game player who went to be a reserve. They had the best coach. Golden State's got layer after layer after layer. They were a better team, and I'm not saying long-term, but they're a different team, and last night a better team than the second-best team in the league without KD. Steve Kerr afterwards.
Liverpool yesterday came out with just one of the great wins in soccer history. And after the match, their manager, Jurgen Klopp, said, "Our boys are giants." That's what he said. And I know how he feels. So I apologize to my mom, who is probably watching, but our guys are giants. Like, that was an unbelievable victory tonight.
It really was. And that's why they're a dynasty, and Houston's just really good. Houston, KD's out. We've got to switch up. Couldn't do it. Golden State lost the top guy. And for like 7 minutes, you're like, oh, I like this new style. It's actually kind of more fluid and fun. That's the difference between the Utah Jazz and the Bulls, and the good Sonics and Blazers teams and the Bulls, and the Showtime Lakers and those really good Knicks teams and those pretty good Indiana Pacer teams. Layers, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, bench, coach. That was impressive last night. Let me shift to this. Yeah, I was wrong on that Boston Celtic thing. Yeah, Milwaukee's way better. Bench is better. Stronger, longer, taller, more passionate. Kyrie Irving thing never worked. 2 years, didn't work. He doesn't fit with the coach. He doesn't really fit with the roster. And here's another thing. He doesn't really fit with the city. I always thought that mattered. Michael Jordan felt Chicago. City of big shoulders. Michael was big. Oprah was there. Siskel and Ebert. Industry leaders. There's no better fit in the history of basketball than Magic in L.A. Glamour player, glamour city. Kyrie doesn't even feel like Boston. Larry Bird did. Tough, gritty clutch to Lunch Pail City. By the way, Kevin Garnett to me felt like Boston. Trash talker, frugal, tough, don't get in his face, intimidating. Paul Pierce, overachiever, gritty, played defense. Julian Edelman embodies. Tom Brady has a supermodel wife. He's a grinder, watching tape. Kyrie just doesn't feel like Boston. We already know he doesn't fit with his coach. We already know he doesn't fit with his roster. But I always thought it felt like Detroit's good teams in the NBA are tough because Detroit's tough. And the 70 Steelers, the Steel Town USA, they were tough. They may have had a glamorous quarterback. They won with defense. Dallas teams, always a little flashy with Aikman, Tony Romo, and Dak. I always feel there's a perfect harmony with the all-time great teams. They almost feel like their city. Kyrie doesn't feel like Boston. He's not into practice. He's not a grinder. He's not into the community. He's an ISO guy. I don't know anybody anything. He's just an unbelievable basketball, brilliant solo act. He's very much a cappella. I don't feel the harmony. Steph feels like Silicon Valley. Duncan felt like the system. He felt like Pop. He felt like family. Even after the loss last night, Kyrie just feels like he's just his own guy doing his own thing, and it just doesn't fit.
In general, what kind of things are you looking for, I guess, in your life, and what kind of things, kind of situations would be a positive situation that you want to be in when you?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just trying to make it back to Boston first, safely, and get to see my family, decompress, do what human beings do.
Kyrie also has something I would call the number one pick syndrome. John Wall's got it. Kyrie's got it. Blake Griffin had it. Iverson had it. D. Rose. Once you're the number one pick, you see yourselves as a one. And the truth is, Blake Griffin's not a one. He's a two. John Wall's a two. Kyrie's a two. Derrick Rose a two. Iverson is a one if he's willing to play well with others. But when you're picked number one in the world, to the world's best basketball league, most number one picks are not Magic and LeBron. They've got all sorts of flaws. They'll develop emotionally and physically into a better player. But there's been a lot of number one picks who were really over-skilled twos. Wall, Kyrie, Rose, Blake, Iverson, and they all had the same dilemma, and it wasn't a lack of talent. They didn't play well with others. The number one pick syndrome. They see themselves elevated above everyone coming into the league. Forget once they're there. They see themselves from day one. I'm a number one pick. Therefore, I have to be a number one guy. Kyrie's not. He doesn't have the personality for it. You could argue he doesn't have the size for it. Historically, Steph Curry's a very unique scoring small point guard that wins a title. I just don't feel like Kyrie fits here. I thought he would. I thought he was kind of the icing on the cake, the great closer. They had the coach, they had the cast, they had the closer. It just doesn't work. It's okay. By the way, not the end of the world. He's got options. There'll be a lot of bidders. Not everybody works everywhere. Drew Brees didn't work with the San Diego Chargers. Drew Brees feels like New Orleans. That's okay. Not everybody works everywhere. The first place you go is not always the best place you go. First marriage, not always the best marriage. But I thought even after the game, sitting at the end of the bench, sort of indifferent, I was wrong. It just doesn't work. Good news is he's got a bunch of options. Coming up next, LeBron doesn't. What I've heard from what can only be called a circus with the Los Angeles Lakers. That's coming up. As any coach, as any GM, general manager will tell you, the foundation of a great team is great talent. Not a surprise, teams dedicate so much time and effort toward finding the right players. It's why we spend 3 or 4 days on the NFL draft. Same rule applies when it comes to hiring. It all starts with top talent. You don't have endless resources to find it. Luckily, you have ZipRecruiter. They scout talent for you. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job, your opening, to over 100 of the web's leading job boards. Okay? It doesn't stop there. They have matching technology, which scans thousands of resumes. So they not only find the right people, but they have the right experience. And then they invite them to apply to your job. So effective, 4 to 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through their site within a day. It's free, too. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/herd. That'll get you in for free, H-E-R-D. ZipRecruiter. Matching technology is the smartest way to hire.